Shabbat Shalom. It's been a somewhat intense week for our country, and this is a time when Shabbat can always bring us a little peace. Regardless of what happens during any given week, one of the gifts of the Jewish people is that we have Shabbat, to kind of bring us back to ground zero, to help us recharge. And so this Shabbat, just like every other, can be a Shabbat of peace. This Shabbat, we read the Torah portion of Lech Lecha, where we will be introduced to Abram, ultimately Abraham. I firmly believe that each of our Genesis characters, each of our forefathers and foremothers, have characteristics, have traits that we can learn from. In this Torah portion, I think we're clued into three of the traits that made Abraham so unique and so special. First, there's Abraham's individuality. And by that, I mean Abraham did not need to do what others were doing. Just the very factor that Abraham had a notion of living a monotheistic life, a life where he believed in one God, was so different than everybody around him that it shows, I think, the strength of his character, the courage of his convictions to do what is right or what he knows is right, even when everybody else around him is doing something different. Second, we see Abraham's vision, his ability to take a long view. As he and Lot stand there dividing land, Lot immediately takes the land that looks most beautiful to the eye, and Abram takes a longer view. Lot, of course, we know as the story goes, is saddled with Sodom and Gomorrah, because rather than looking intently, he just takes a quick glance and accepts that. Abraham shows us the ability to look broadly. And then finally, we see Abraham's goodness. Whether or not Abraham and Sarah lived in a misogynistic society, that's not up for debate. They did. But Abraham, noticing his wife's beauty within him and within her, immediately senses that when he goes to Egypt to get food, that she might be in danger, and this protective instinct comes over him that we hadn't seen yet. And so in this Shabbat, we're introduced to these amazing characteristics of Abraham, our forefather, as we will be throughout the book of Genesis. If we look, these characters, though flawed, provide us with a great model for Jewish community going forward. Shabbat Shalom.